They gave me 48 hours. 48 hours to pack up my entire life, say goodbye to everything I had ever known, and disappear because I dared to make a choice they didn't approve of. My mom stood in the doorway, arms crossed, voice like stone. "You have until Sunday. After that, this is no longer your home." My dad didn't even look at me. And you know what the scariest part was? I had nowhere to go. No savings, no backup plan, just 23 years old, a garbage bag full of clothes, and a phone with 40% battery. They thought that would break me. They thought I'd come crawling back. They thought they had won. They were wrong. Stay with me, because what happened next changed everything. And I mean everything. Let me take you back to Friday night. It started like any normal evening. I came home from work, made dinner, sat down at the kitchen table. And then I told them. I told my parents I wasn't going to marry the guy they had picked for me. I know. For some of you watching, that might sound like the most ordinary thing in the world. But for me, for my family, that sentence was a grenade. My mom dropped her fork. My dad slowly put down his phone. The room went dead silent, the kind of silence that has weight to it, like it could crush you. And then my dad said, and I'll never forget these words, he said, "Then you are not our daughter." Just like that. No shouting, no tears from him. Just those 7 words said like he was reading from a script. My mom started crying, but not for me. She was crying because she was embarrassed. She kept saying, "What will people think? What will we tell everyone?" Nobody asked what I thought. Nobody asked how I felt. Nobody asked what I wanted my life to look like. I was 23 years old, and in that house, I had no voice. That night, I sat on my bed, staring at the glow-in-the-dark stars I had stuck to my ceiling when I was 9. I used to think those stars were magical. Now they just look like cheap plastic. I had until Sunday. It was Friday night. 36 hours. I barely slept. When the sun came up Saturday morning, I did something I had never done in a moment of crisis. I sat completely still, and I made a list. Not a list of problems, a list of resources. Because when everything is falling apart, you have to find out what you actually have, not what you're missing. I had my job, retail, part-time, barely minimum wage, but it was income. I had my phone, which meant I had access to information. I had one friend, Danny, who I knew would answer if I called. And I had something my parents never counted on. I had been quietly saving money for the past 8 months. Nothing huge, just whatever I could squeeze out of every paycheck. $1,100, tucked away in an account they didn't know existed. $1,100 sounds like nothing, and honestly, in most cities, it is nothing. But I wasn't starting from zero. I was starting from $1,100 and a will to survive that my parents had badly underestimated. I called Danny at 7:30 in the morning. She picked up on the second ring. I said, "I need a place to stay. Just a week, maybe 2. I'll sleep on your floor, I don't care." And Danny, God bless her, she didn't ask a single question. She just said, "I'll move the couch. Come over whenever you're ready." That one sentence gave me enough courage to get through the rest of that day. Sunday, the door closes. Sunday came fast. I packed what I could carry, some clothes, my laptop, the one thing I had bought for myself with my own money, my birth certificate, my social security card, and a little wooden jewelry box my grandmother had given me when I was 7. I left everything else. My mom was in the kitchen when I came downstairs with my bags. She didn't get up, she didn't hug me, she just looked at me and said, "I hope you know what you're doing." I wanted to say, "Mom, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm terrified. I've never paid rent. I've never had to figure out health insurance. I don't know how to do any of this." But what I actually said was, "I do." And I picked up my bags and I walked out. My dad never came out of his office. That was the part that hurt the most, honestly. Not the argument, not the ultimatum, just the silence from the one room in the house that mattered. Danny had made up the couch with actual blankets and a pillow. She had left a sticky note on the bathroom mirror that said, "You are so much stronger than you know." I cried for about 20 minutes, and then I washed my face, opened my laptop, and started planning. Over the next 2 weeks, I applied to 37 jobs. 37. I got rejected for most of them. Some never responded. 3 called me back for interviews. 1 hired me. It wasn't glamorous, a customer service position at a small insurance company, but it paid more than retail, it had benefits, and most importantly, it was full-time. With Danny's help, I found a room for rent in a house with 3 other young women. $550 a month, utilities included. It was the size of a closet, honestly, but it had a door that locked and a window that faced east, so the morning sun hit it first. I used to wake up and just sit in that sunlight for a few minutes before getting up. It felt like the whole world was telling me, "You made it through another night. You're still here." I started building a routine. Wake up at 6, pack lunch, never bought lunch, that was my rule. Work from 8 to 5, come home, study for 2 hours. I had enrolled in an online business certificate program, totally free through the public library system. Nobody tells you the library can change your life. It can. I wasn't thriving, not yet, but I was stable, and stable felt like a miracle. 6 months later, my parents and I didn't speak. 7 months of complete silence. And then one evening, my mom called. She didn't apologize, not exactly, but she said, "I heard you got your own place." She paused. "I'm glad you're okay." That was it. 4 words. "I'm glad you're okay." It wasn't what I needed, but it was a start. Healing doesn't always come in the form of a grand apology. Sometimes it comes in 4 quiet words from someone who doesn't quite know how to say they were wrong. If you're watching this and you're in the middle of your own 48 hours, whether that's a family ultimatum, a relationship falling apart, a job you just lost, or a door that just closed on you, I need you to hear this. The people who gave you that deadline, they were betting on your fear. They were counting on you to freeze, to give in, to believe that without them, you were nothing. But fear is not the truth. Fear is just your brain trying to protect you from the unknown. And the unknown is where everything good is waiting for you. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need to take the next step. Just one, then another, then another. Because here's what I know for certain. The version of you that walks that door is not the version that walks in somewhere new. You grow, you learn, you surprise yourself, and one day, maybe 6 months from now, maybe a year, maybe 2, you'll be sitting in a space that is entirely yours, built by your own hands, paid for by your own work, filled with the life you actually chose. And you'll think back to that deadline. And you'll smile, because they thought you won, but you were the one who was free. If this story meant something to you, share it with someone who needs it today. Subscribe, hit that notification bell, and drop a comment below. I want to hear your story. I'll see you in the next one.